A lot of y'all are some people's walking mood boards, and they will never tell you. They won't say anything. They will just silently emulate. And I'm telling you, if you needed a reminder to pop your shit, this is your reminder. You are some people's Pinterest. You are some people's inspo. You are the aesthetic to some people, but they won't tell you that. Just keep doing what you're doing, because they're watching, and they're going to have it on the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
Hey, welcome to Let's Glow with Nini. I'm Nini, and let's get straight into this video.
The easier it is for me to realize when somebody does not like me. I used to be so clueless and just not see when people were jealous of me, or not be able to see when people didn't like me. But let me tell y'all, for my other clueless girlies, here are 3 signs that that girl does not like you. She ain't your friend. She might be acting like your friend, but she's not. Number 1, every time you bring up something, whether it's a guy, whether it's clothes, whether it's what you got going on with your life or career, she's always trying to compare. You can't bring up nothing in your life without her trying to compare it to hers. You don't get a moment. It's going to be y'all's moment. Jealous. Number 2, this person has a hard time giving you compliments or praise. You will praise them. You will hype them up. You will, yes, girl, you will woo, 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 and scream for them when they get something accomplished. But when it's your turn around, it's a whisper. Congratulations, girls. Jealous. And lastly, y'all get along best when you're doing bad. When you're at your lowest points, mentally, physically, you may be going through a hard time with breakups, or you may be going through a hard time with school. That's when it seems like y'all relationship is the closest. But whenever you feel like you're doing good, or whenever things are looking up, or things are flourishing, or you in a healthy relationship, or you doing good, it's always friction, or it always feel weird. It only feels good in a relationship when you're doing bad. If these 3 signs apply, please get rid of that friend. This is your sign. Get rid of her. That girl is not your friend.
Be very hard to hear, sis, but somebody needs to tell you. It's time to let that friend go. She's jealous. She's a hater. She doesn't want to see you win. You can't tell her about your wins. And you know it deep down in your gut. You know it in your stomach that it's time to let this person go. However, you're scared you're going to be lonely. You're scared you're not going to have any friends. And here's the thing. She's beautiful. She got her own thing going on. She's winning in her own way, but she can't see it because she's so focused on you. And you've tried to let it go. There was 1 sign, 2 sign, 3 sign, 4 sign, and you keep ignoring the signs. And I know, y'all go way back. That's your girl, that's your guy, that's your bestie, that's your diary. But it's time to let them go. Because if you don't let them go, it's going to get in the way of your success. When I say get in the way, sometimes it shows up like that person sabotaging something you have going on. And then you thinking to yourself, why didn't I just cut them off when I said I would? I'm at a place in my life where I don't play with jealous people. I don't play with them. I have a lot of great things going on in my life. And I refuse for anyone to come in between that. Something my mom always taught me was that jealousy unalives people. When a person is jealous, they will go to great lengths to make sure they see you fail, even if that means that you are no longer here. So let that person go, baby love. You will find a new friend. It will be hard, I know. You can dwell on the memories, you can cry about it, but let it go. It's time to cut off those friends. I don't care if you don't want to go out alone. I don't care if you won't have anyone to speak to. Find new friends who are doing just as good as you or better. If your friends are not motivated, if your friends don't have goals, if your friends don't have a routine, I'm not saying necessarily your friends need to be making as much money as you, need to have as much clout as you, need to have the perfect life or perfect relationship. I'm not saying that. But they need to have some goals about them. If they ain't got no goals, if they're not motivated, if they're not happy, they cannot be happy for you. Simply put, no one in this world can be happy for you if they're not happy for themselves. That is law. It's time to cut them off.
so many stories in all stages of my life when I feel like I thought I was friends with a girl and then it ends up that she didn't even like me. You're basically like jealous of me, but you want to be around me so bad. Like, have you ever had... It's sick. It's literally, you're mentally fucking ill.
I can easily weed out who's for me and who's not for me. For me, I can have one of them friends. Like, bitch, take a picture, record the camera, okay? Catch this show, because you can never be me.
That's why it's so important to have friends and people around you that are secure, confident people, because that's where it stems from. You're insecure, you're jealous, you want to be someone else because you feel like you don't hold value in yourself.
Hey, why, when you be jealous of people, why you be trying to be their friend? When you don't like somebody, why you still be following them on Instagram? You a monitoring spirit. You know, in real life, if you put your energy and time and effort into people that actually like you and you align with, you probably would be doing better in life. But you would rather follow people that you don't like so you can send screenshots to your group chat and be like, look at her, look what she doing. It's giving misery. Giving I'm not accomplishing my goals. It's giving I ain't got no favor and I don't think it's fair. You sit with God for a second and talk to him about what you got going on and what you want to work through in real life, you know you can fix yourself. I used to be the person that gave energy and effort and all that type of stuff to people that didn't deserve it. And baby, let me tell you, thank you, God. God. Lost, but now I'm found, baby, because in real life I wasted so much time and effort on people that didn't deserve it, and you have too. So I dare you, I challenge you to get it together. Stop giving energy to people that is beneath you and your calling. Yeah, I said beneath because in reality they are beneath you. Go ahead and focus on your focus. People don't even deserve your energy for real. In reality, that spirit of jealousy don't even feel good on you, baby. Go ahead, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it. Y'all gonna get this word, baby.
If a friend, someone you know, someone you're close with, starts exhibiting jealous, competitive, envious behavior, run. So I have dealt with this for most of my life, you know, encountering these type of people, and it is one of the most exhausting, devastating things to deal with. And, you know, I will say there are a lot of people who will say like, oh, she was jealous of me, or like hater, you know, they're being a hater, or they think they have so many haters and everyone's jealous, and, you know, they do this to boost their own ego. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you literally just feel something is off. You might not even like fully be able to put words to it, so you might ignore it, but just in your body you feel something's not right when you're with this person. Because I'm telling you, 99% of the time your intuition was always right. So a good way to test this is, you know, if you're in person with someone, say something really positive that happens, or just like really go off about how amazing your day was, or something crazy that happens, and watch their reaction. So someone who is deep in the stages of, you know, competitiveness or envy, it's going to be written all over their face. So I personally noticed this when I bought my house. You know, I had invited a ton of people over, just all separately, different times to see it. I was so excited. You know, it's a big deal. I'm in my 20s, so it's a huge accomplishment, and it wasn't like a small house either. And the difference between the people I felt supported me and those that were low-key, you know, mad, jealous, was so obvious. So the people that I, you know, felt were supportive and that I knew were happy for me were so excited. You know, like we were talking like decorating, like, oh my gosh, you know, how are you going to decorate this? Or like I was telling them my vision for different rooms, and they were like, you know, giving feedback, like really loving it, excited, happy for me. The people that I felt were kind of sus were either A, very quiet. So, you know, one person I had showed them around, and it was like almost like every room they got quieter and quieter, just like, okay, nice. And I'm like, you know, it occurred to me, I'm like, at that point, it's taking more energy for you to be quiet because you're clearly experiencing something emotionally, like it's written all over your face. It's taking more energy for you to silence yourself than it is to just say whatever it is you want to say. Another person was literally like talking over me the whole time and like flipping everything and making it about themselves. Like, oh, well, at my job, like this just happened and I just did this. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's great, but it seems like I didn't say this, but, you know, I'm thinking like every time, like I'm trying to give you the tour, like, you know, you want to see it, you're flipping it about something that happens to you, making it about you. And I'm like, this is like one time I feel like should maybe be a little bit of my moment. And, you know, those types of experiences, they just put a damper on your accomplishments. And, you know, for a while around certain people, I would just not say like, you know, things I was proud of or that I had accomplished because I didn't want it to come off as bragging, which is so dumb because if you think about it, like what are friends for? You know, you should be able to share what you are doing happily and feel like you're going to be supported and others are going to be happy for you. You know, never has someone said something positive that happened to them and I took it as like an attack on myself, or I went into like defensive mode, or I started talking about what I have, blah blah blah. Like that's a sign they don't want the best for you. But I do want to say, you know, we are all human. It's normal to experience a little bit of envy when, you know, you see someone doing something you want or an experience that you want to have. You know, that's normal. So don't let a temporary blip, you know, really get in the way of that, but really go by how you feel around this person. You know, do I feel like I can authentically be myself, that they're going to be supportive? Do I feel like they're talking about me instead behind my back, or like they're trying to take my moment or downplay my achievements? Because those are things you just shouldn't tolerate. That is not fair, and you don't want to be around people like that.
Hey y'all, we need to talk about that jealous friend that's probably in your circle right now. Let me explain. It may not be obvious to you right away, but that person that's in your circle that's jealous, it obviously is not going to show their true colors. They're not going to show their true colors until they can't hold it in anymore, or until you are doing so well for yourself. You're, getting the opportunities, you're glowing up, you're doing you. They're not going to be able to hold it in once that happens. I've said this before, that haters aren't always the people that are hating on you directly to your face. Sometimes they're the people that are the nicest to you. Sometimes the people that are in your circle over complimenting you. They're the people that are usually closest to you, and they try to get close to you and stay close to you. I don't want you to go into your friend group and be like, oh my gosh, all y'all are haters and all y'all are complimenting me. Y'all don't mean it. I don't want you to do that. But I want you to pay attention to this friend that is in these different stages of your life and is really only sticking around when you're at your lowest, or when you haven't hit your full potential yet. When you're still kind of insecure, when you still have that really bad imposter syndrome. They're usually around, and they may be like, oh yeah, you're great, or you're this, or you're that, but they usually want to be around during that time for you when you're not doing so well, and just be there just to make themselves feel better. Because people that don't feel good about themselves, or they want to see somebody else fail, or they want to see somebody else fall, right? They want to watch you be not great just so they can feel better next to you. And you just may think, oh, well, they're there for me at a really hard time. When in reality, they just want to be around you because you're not doing well. And the crazy thing about it is, they see all your potential. They know that you're great, and they know that you could be at the top. And this happens pretty quietly. It doesn't happen very aggressively. It just happens slow enough and steady enough for you to feel comfortable, and for you to not really think anything of it. But trust, once you, lose that weight, get your dream body, get your dream job, start feeling good about yourself, and really start elevating your game, then what happens to them? All of a sudden they change. All of a sudden they can't contain that anymore, because when you discover how amazing and incredible you are, and it starts showing from the outside because it's coming out from the inside, they're not going to be able to hold it in much longer. But either way, they'll remove themselves, or God will do it for you. I had a friend once that admitted to me, after I had lost a whole bunch of weight, I had lost over 100 pounds back in 2021. I had a friend that told me that the only reason why she was friends with me was because I was fat. And that in a way, it made her feel better about herself, just because when she was around me, right, and saw my weight, it made her feel better. Be careful. And this is why it's important to also get your self-worth in check, your value in check. Get all that together. Get it together so you can wean out those people quickly.
Ladies, this is what happens when you cut off a jealous, toxic, narcissistic female friend. After you have discovered she's been gossiping about you, she's been two-faced, she's been playing you the whole friendship because she's secretly envious of you. When you cut her off, you can expect her to befriend all of your enemies. All the bitches that you hate and you can't stand, they're going to be her new friends. They're going to be her new besties, because she needs a reason to bring your name up and gossip. All of your ex-boyfriends, yep, she will befriend them too, and even sleep with them. And guess what? Once you block her off of your social media, and you block her from calling and texting you, sis is going to make fake accounts and harass you and spy on you. She will become obsessed with you because the audacity of you cutting her off. She is a narcissist, you understand? She is obsessed with destroying you because you cut her off.
You have jealous friends, you really need to be careful of keeping them around you and letting them see and giving them insight into what you do on a daily, weekly, whatever basis, just what you do, period. Because keeping a jealous friend is worse than keeping an enemy. At least an enemy, you know they don't like you. You're not telling them your secrets. You're not telling them what's going on in your life. You're not telling them all these different things about you, right? But if you have a jealous friend, and maybe you don't know you have a jealous friend, But if you have a jealous friend, they're getting all that insight. They're knowing what you're doing. They're peeking into what you're saying. They know when you're feeling sad. They know when you're feeling mad, whatever. And they can secretly, and they probably are secretly, preying on your downfall. Or they're happy when something bad happens to you. Or they're happy when you don't get that promotion or that extra money or whatever it may be, right? So you have to watch out for those jealous friends, because they can stop you from progressing. They can stop you from progressing mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in your life, in your career, in your business. And those types of people will keep you down because they don't want you doing better than them. Jealous friends do not want you to do better than them, and you cannot keep those people in your life. So keep an eye out for people who are in your life who are making little side comments when you like do something successful, or maybe you'll say like, hey, like this something great happened to me, and they have some way to bring in something negative, right? You have to keep watch for these types of people and snip, snip, cut them out of your life because they will hold you back.
Wrecking y'all brains trying to understand and figure out what it is about you that makes people jealous. And sometimes it be the people that have more than you, and you can't figure out why sometimes those people are jealous of you when it seems like they're doing better than you. The thing is, people are rarely jealous of materialistic things. I mean, sometimes they are, but most of the time people are not jealous of you because of what you have, because most of what we have can be copied. What people really jealous of is the things about you that can't be copied. They're jealous of your lights, your gift, your anointing, your calling, the way that you love so freely and the way that other people love on you, the way that you exude peace, love, and happiness, the way that you get through every trial and tribulation, and it seems like you do it with so much grace. They looking at you like, how does this person keep doing this over and over and over again? It be the things that can't be copied that makes people jealous.
Stop being vulnerable with people who are in competition with you, because they will use your shortcomings as ammo to make them feel better about themselves. It makes me think of the time that I got a foot injury, and it kind of like really put me in a bad place. And I was sharing with my friend at the time how I felt really, really low about like aesthetically not having like all 10 of my toenails. And it was a lot. Like my foot was propped up. I was very, very upset. This girl proceeded to send pictures of her feet. Oh, my boyfriend has my feet as his wallpaper. Look at my anklet. Should I get French tip toes? And that's just a very loose but extreme example of like how far people will go to use your vulnerabilities against you, especially when they're trying to make themselves feel better about wherever they are in life. So whether it's something small like, oh, I don't like this, and now they're saying, well, I've never had that problem. Or something as extreme as you have an injury and now they're sending you their non-injured body parts as if to say, well, I've never had that problem either. Just be careful.
Let me tell you, it's crazy. I had a friend just like this. When I say she moved in the same apartments I lived in, she wanted to drive the same car I drove. I had to convince her to get the Acura and not another coupe. She wanted the exact same color. She would wear her hair like mine. She would date guys that look like the guys that I was dating. And when things did not work out for her the way they were working out for me, because she was trying to do what I was doing, she would be so mad at me. She would be so angry, so flustered. This is why I don't like hanging with people who don't have a personality and have low self-esteem. Because when women have low self-esteem, they tend not to know who they are or what they really like or what they really want. And it shows up in every aspect of their life. They, like I said, they won't have a personality, and they just want to be what they see. And they want to be what they see works out for other people. And it just becomes a really big conflict of interest, and then they get mad with you. That same friend, she tried to see me in a car accident. Like, when I say I can go into a whole story time about this girl, and I let her back in my life 2 times. The 3rd time, I cut that hoe off and I never let her back in, because when she would get mad at me, she would say stuff to me like, what I really want to say to you, we not going to be friends after I say it. And I'm like, but you trying to be me, so what is it that you want to say to me that's we not going to be friends? I said, bitch, you want my whole life. So I had to like check her and put her in her place. And I let her know, I was like, you're jealous. And in her mind, she could not register the fact that she was jealous. It was so odd. Like, it was so odd. So listen, when you come across these people, that are remind you of people that you've already. I've come across people that I feel like are like her, and I don't fuck with them. I don't bother. I stay away from them. You cannot be friends with people who don't have their own personality. You can't. You cannot be. You can't. You just can't do it.
There's honestly certain things that you simply cannot confront. You can't confront someone that's got secret animosity towards you or any jealousy towards you or someone that's in competition with you. You could see the signs clear as day. It could be as far as even your friends and family being able to see it. They will still gaslight you. They will still deny it. They'll still make you look like the crazy one because that's simply not something somebody's going to admit to you ever. Why? Because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing and it's uncomfortable, especially when it starts becoming malicious, envious, or even copying everything that you do to try and become you. I had an alleged friend like this at uni that used to do this all the time. Would make all the snidey remarks and comments and pass them off as jokes. Never ever happy for any of my achievements. None of them. As a matter of fact, she would actually try to one-up every single thing that I achieved. Even if it was something that she achieved 10 years ago, she would bring it up in that moment. That's not even the worst of it. If things were going really good for me, she literally could not be around me. Anytime I was happy, things were going well, she would find a random reason to start beefing me and not speak to me. Would even turn my other flatmates against me. And this would all be completely out of the blue for no reason. One reason was that I left the plate in the sink. Second reason was that I finished the toilet roll. Can you imagine your friend not speaking to you for 2 weeks, 3 weeks sometimes because of finishing toilet roll? Toilet roll that we would all take in turns to bulk buy, by the way. Anyway, I really wore myself out trying to confront this and get her to admit that she had a deeper issue. It was not something that she would ever admit, even though it was clear as day to me, my other housemate. It was only until my other housemate finally told me like all the things that she had been saying behind my back, that when I confronted her with that, she had nothing to say and just blocked me. That's why I say don't bother confronting, just cut them off and trust your gut. You know when somebody's got animosity towards you. It doesn't always start off so negative and so envious and so nasty. Just trust your gut, cut them off, move on.
You know, someone asked me on here, why do I talk about jealousy? Why do I make, videos on jealousy and stuff like that? Not only do I go through it, I've been through it, and I still go through it. I feel like that's something we could all chime in on and talk about because also, too, it's relatable. But I talk about it because when it comes to people around you, you have to be mindful of who you hang around, y'all. And I feel like sometimes people can be a little too nice, meaning if you have that friend, a lot of y'all have friends who's supposed to been cut off a long time ago, baby. A long time ago. And these people or that person is still around you. Yes, when people talk about jealousy, yes, jealousy is definitely a natural thing. It is natural. But no one talks about when jealousy starts becoming demonic. Certain things you can't play with, and I feel like jealousy is one of them. I'm gonna keep it real. A friend of mine and I were talking one night, and he told me a verse in the Bible, and he said that jealousy is as cruel as the grave. That means a person or people can do some wild shit and make some crazy ass decisions. If you look at Shanquilla Robinson, Kanika Jenkins, and Selena, what do they all have in common? All of them passed away in a hotel. If you know somebody don't like you, if you know deep down in your heart a group of females don't like you, or anybody or males that don't like you, don't go with them nowhere. Nowhere. While you thinking everything, gonna be all right, I'm gonna be good, and you got all these good intentions that everything gonna be all right, and you got people who you think you're cool with trying to take your ass up out of here. I just want to say, y'all, you can't play with everybody. If it look like a duck, if it smell like a rat, it's a rat. If it quack like a duck, it's a duck. Don't play with stuff like that. Jealousy is cruel as the grave. Nobody talks about when jealousy starts becoming demonic and evil, because when it comes down to jealousy, it is levels to that shit. It's definitely levels to that shit. And when somebody jealous of you, girl, they don't care about you being there for them.
I can tell you plenty of people I've been there for. Then helped them, then been there for them, then fed them and they kids, they child too. I can tell you so many people. They don't care. Start accepting for people for who they are. If they feel a way about you, sis, if they feel a way about you, bro, that's that on that. Go ahead. You need to, what them scissors at? You need to go ahead and start cutting them off. It's not healthy and it's not safe. If you're watching this video right now, a lot of y'all already know in the back of your mind who it is you need to cut off. It's not cool, it's not healthy, and it's not safe. Go ahead and start making the right decisions, y'all, because you never know what's on somebody's mind, and you never know what somebody will do to you. Jealousy is cruel as the grave.
A person will show you how much they secretly admire you by how they choose to insult you.
This is so true. And it's actually reminding me of a tactic that I've talked about on my page before called the intentional invalidation tactic, listed in the book Green Eyes, of course. But what's super important when you're dealing with someone who is envious of you or feels threatened by you is you pay attention to whatever it is that they're projecting onto you. Because a lot of the time they're showing their hand, they're revealing this insecurity that you trigger within them. But before rereading the intentional invalidation tactic in this TikTok, I actually want to read a section on page 28 that talks about how envious people use projection against their target. Envy and projection most times go hand in hand, where the envious person will do their absolute best to project their insecurities and competitiveness onto you. They will do this with the motive of deflection. Projection is also used on the target of envy to make the person who they are envious of feel inadequate in hopes of compensating for one's own feelings of inadequacy. So now that gaining an understanding of the projection tactic is out of the way, or why projection and envy often goes hand in hand, I wanted to highlight how the woman that I stitched honed in on the importance of paying attention to that very thing a particular person keeps critiquing and complaining about, whether it be a particular trait that you have, the way that you present yourself, or maybe just the way that other people perceive you and respond to you. Pay attention to that, because a lot of the time the envious person is showing their inadequacies by constantly fixating on whatever that thing is. And I also appreciate the way that she explained this dynamic in her TikTok, because what she really depicted was the intentionality behind the constant criticism. And to expand on the points that she was making in her video, as I mentioned earlier in this TikTok, I'm going to read the section called the intentional invalidation tactic. The tactic is used when an envious individual aims to damage the target of envy's self-esteem and confidence by constantly invalidating them. When using this tactic, the goal is to slowly break an individual's morale, optimism, and self-confidence down. If an envious individual can succeed in making their target of envy question themselves, or even worse, feel unworthy, unattractive, and unlovable due to invalidation, then they have succeeded in the envious attack and projection. Overall, the purpose is to lead someone to assume there must be something wrong with them. However, when you pick up on the game that is being played against you, you start to gain the upper hand. And the book talks about so many different ways that you can go about this. So if you're interested in getting a copy, it's available as a physical copy or an ebook on Amazon, but it is also available on Google Play in 66 countries.